We're in good company this evening with Chaplain Rick Christopherson, speaking by phone from Colorado, in good company here on Premier Christian Radio.
Rick, take us to, one of the best days you've had. Describe to us, why was it so good?
Well, there's different answers and different levels about that. Obviously, when you are part of a team that takes care of the community and the community are very happy with what you've done, it feels good to know that you were part of that. Also, when I do my job, it feels good to know you're making a difference. And I got one scenario that both of those kind of run into each other, me part of the team and the community. We had a SWAT team was called to a hostage situation where a man was beating his ex-girlfriend and held her hostage in a home, and we were called out. And I'm on the radio listening to the negotiators talk to our command. I'm about 50 yards away from everything's happening, and I hear over the radio that the man is trying to cut the gas line and blow up the trailer. And in the first half of the trailer, I've got my team. I've got a stack of my SWAT operators in there ready to go in and rescue this girl. And then I hear they're trying to, he's trying to blow up the trailer with the gas. And they made the decision, we need to go in quickly and remove her and stop his actions. And they moved in very quickly. They had to go through a lot of debris, a barricade. He barricaded himself in there, burst in there and rescued her. The man attacked my SWAT guys, and they were forced to address that, and they shot and killed him. And they rescued the girl and brought him out. And when I heard all was clear, meaning there was no more danger, the action was stopped, and they got the hostage out, I ran up towards the trailer, and I got there in time to see one of my SWAT operators moving the hostage to an ambulance. And it struck me right there. Our team trains and practices, and I get to be part of that. I do a lot of role-playing training where I'm the bad guy sometimes, and they have to use me as a training dummy, which I very much enjoy, and sometimes I play the hostage. And the training we do, I was part of that for this very real-life scenario. So I get to be part of something that led to a hostage being rescued. And I felt very proud of my team members. And what people don't understand is it's natural to protect yourself. People want to, if you hear someone's trying to blow up that building, people want to leave. These SWAT operators, they have what they call a priority of life. The priority of life is this: hostages first, innocent civilians, and then themselves. So they were willing to die. They moved towards the danger. Instead of evacuating, their priority was the hostage. And I felt very proud part of that team. And those guys acted very courageously and went in, and with danger ahead of them, stormed that room and took care of business and rescued a hostage. And the community thought that was great. The team members did well. It's unfortunate the man forced upon our operators to have to shoot and kill him, but they had to stop the violent action to save the life of this hostage. And it's an overwhelming feeling of emotions because it's high adrenaline, it's fast moving, quick decisions have to be made. But my team members got to go home. I got to spend time with the operator who had to take that shot. They get very isolated, and so I got to spend a lot of time and take care of that man who pulled that trigger and make sure he was okay, that he did what was right and justified. So that was good for the community. It was good for that hostage. It was good for the team. That was a weird good day, if that makes sense.
In the movies, when the officer is pulling the trigger, they pull the trigger and somebody is injured or, as you've just illustrated, sometimes killed, and the officer goes to the police station, has a donut and a cup of coffee. It's not really that way, is it?
Oh, heavens, no. Police officers, sheriff deputies, when they take a life or involved in a critical incident, they get isolated immediately because anything they say can and will be used against them in a court of law. They have the same rights as any American, and they are investigated. Their clothes are taken from them. They have to be given other clothes to wear. Their guns are taken. They are examined. They're interviewed. There's probably, I've been involved in 7 or 8 officer-involved situations over the last 7 years. It takes about 10 to 15 hours of sitting in a room by yourself until the investigation is done before they can go home, be with their family. And what's nice about our laws here in Colorado, I have confidentiality, same as a lawyer. So I can sit with them. They can say anything they want to me. I cannot be summoned into a courtroom to testify what was being told to me. So they're not alone. Their chaplain is with them. And we have good peer support systems here, too. But they're very much isolated. They're on leave for quite a while, and they're scrutinized. Their name is released to the media. There are so many things for taking the life, and there should be. There needs to be great investigation to make sure everything was just done right. And it's emotionally very tough, mentally very tough on these officers when they have to do that.
Rick, while we're on this very sobering subject, obviously, again, in the last few months, the shooting deaths of officers in Texas and Louisiana, how's that affected the people that you work with?
Well, there's 2 areas I'm looking into, making sure the guys are okay. The deputies themselves, I'm very proud of them, simply because they're still showing up, still putting the badge on, still putting the uniform on, still going out in the streets. Our law enforcement coverage has not gone on, even though there's real danger. Copycats, people who have the same passionate feelings and potentially can cause harm, they're still going out there and protecting their communities in spite of that. And to the families, they're the ones who can't do anything. They just have to watch their spouses and their family members go out in the streets, and they're the ones who carry the worry and the anxiety. They can't do anything. Their job is to wait for them to come home. And that's pretty harrowing for these families. A lot of spouses I've talked to who are concerned and nervous, and rightfully so. So I do a lot of praying, a lot of comforting. I'm a push a button and fix it type of guy, and there's no button I can fix. I just have to pray, and be there for them so they don't feel alone during this time.
Rick, your time is obviously spent a lot on the streets with people out and about, being present. It must also have its moments which are just both surprising and rewarding, and just fun.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's kind of weird, and I don't know if I can convey to you. I don't know if I'm a good enough communicator to convey the joy I get out of my job, simply because of this. I work with death quite a bit. I get called out when somebody in the community dies. We call them an unattended death. If no one's there to witness the death, I'll get called out sometimes, and I'll be there with them. I'm working with the coroner. I'm working with the deputy who's trying to investigate whether there is a suspicious death or not. My job is to take care of the family members or the friends, whoever's there who found them. Everything's very raw, very emotional. And my job is to do the best I can to comfort, to calm. I call victim advocates to come work with the family members, the friends, or whoever's there who found the dead body. And I oftentimes, this last couple of weeks, I carry gloves with me everywhere I go, because I put them on to help carry a dead body, put it in the body bag, help the deputy do his job. And at the end of the day, I feel like I've accomplished something. I helped the community. I helped my deputies in the midst of someone losing a life and family members mourning that. So it's very surreal, but I feel a real sense of, joy. You have to understand what I mean by joy. I know I'm doing what I'm called to do, and God has put me in this place in the midst of someone else losing a life and family members having to mourn that death. And so I find great joy in doing that job and taking care of my deputies and the community as that happens. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, it does make sense, and you're conveying the privilege and the power of the role. I mean, I suppose I'm also thinking that you and others around you, look, life has been difficult. There are challenges in communities on all sides, but you probably still need a good sense of humour to keep going together.
Oh my goodness, yes. You have to be able to laugh or you cry quite a bit. And law enforcement have a definite sense of humor, and I tend to lean that direction too. I don't know if I can explain that more than that, but yes, you have to be able to. We see a lot of drunk people, and I love working with drunk people. And what I mean is I don't want anybody drunk. I don't want anybody driving. But our job is to respond to other people's mistakes. And we see a lot of drunk driving, a lot of drunk people. And there's just something I find humor in how people let something get the best of them, and they make decisions that aren't the wisest. And I don't laugh at that, but it just... I don't get riled up when people are drunk and yelling at me. I tend to smile and talk with them back and just work with them the best I can to de-escalate. But I find there's a sense of humor I have to do that job.